new comic book day of May. We've got loads of new number ones, I think about 10 of them, as well as a whole bunch of things that we've got the number two, number three, number four, number five issues of. Let's get started right away. We've got a really fun Cheryl Eaton, who has been talking about comics on Twitter and other social media platforms probably for a decade, it feels like. Finally has a Black Panther story. It's a Blood Hunt tie-in. Blood Hunt Black Panther number one. It's probably going to be one of the best Blood Hunt books. Brian Hill, who also writes amazing books, has got Midnight Suns, where the other members of the Midnight Suns come for Blade. That's also going to be one of the better Blood Hunt books. First Americans, a fascinating look at the history of this continent being lived on. Godzilla Mechagodzilla 50th anniversary. I must have mentioned this like a dozen times in all the things that I've talked about. New Rick Remender series, co-written by Brian Posehn, all about 80s skateboards. Hellverine! Wolverine becomes a spirit of vengeance. Look at this craziness. Star Trek Celebration, basically Star Trek Pride issue. Vox Machina has a new miniseries of Origins. William of Newbury, a really wonderful looking fantasy series by the great Michael Oeming. Animals in a fantasy world. Look at that. Beautiful. Hey, Mark. Wedding special. It's kind of the Marvel Pride issue. Mystique and Destiny get married, and a whole bunch of standalone little stories dealing with the build up to that. The DC Pride issue, of course. Wonderful short stories featuring all sorts of queer DC characters. Second issue of Creature of the Black Lagoon. Third issue of Dawn Treader. Second issue of Star Wars Black, White, and Red with Darth Maul. The entire issue of this wonderful issue is... we got some delay. Is Mark Russell and Carlos Natillo doing one big story. I think it's really great. I like the idea of these anthology series just doing single issue stories. Third issue of Batman Dark Age. That's the wonderful all red series. There's the real cover. Torpedo 1972, number 3. Nexus newspaper strip, number 3. Spider-Punk, number 4. Ultimate Spider-Man, number 5. And then loads of ongoing series. I will point out of the ongoing series, which were made a little bit messier than I realized before I looked here. This one features the new Spider-Woman, the Spider-Woman who we saw in the second Spider-Verse movie by the great Niall McGurder. He's a wonderful writer and artist. Spider-Rex as well. Just fun characters. And this Batman Brave and the Bold has a Nightwing Deadman series by the great Kelly Jones. Really wonderful art. I actually preferred it in the black and white he was sharing. So that's some really great stuff. Hey, Joe. Well, you missed Cheryl Eaton is doing a Blood Hunt Black Panther. Thought it might be up your alley since you're getting some of the Blood Hunt. Brian Hill's also doing Midnight Suns. So those are interesting books. But that's really it, I think, in your alley. Unless you want Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. And then the only other thing is to look at those two books, like I said. Sorry, some people just walked in. Like I said yesterday, there's two new graphic novels I didn't look at. Hold on one second. Welcome. Anything I can help you guys find? All right. Right. Like I said, we talked about it yesterday. Newburn, the wonderful Chip Zdarsky, Jacob Phillips series. Second volume wraps it all up. And another Archie Digest, a Jughead Digest. These guys are checking out books over there, so I don't want to go bug them. That's really it. There's a bunch of new books. I just finally posted. I talked about this last Wednesday, I think. Brandy, who used to be on here, had a really terrible experience last Wednesday with people throwing stuff onto their holds and adding things that last minute that she wouldn't have on her shelf. And it really got me thinking about who my Wednesday customers are. Who comes on Wednesday? Who just grabs stuff off the shelf that's new because it's Wednesday? And it's really very, very few. So just now, actually, about 20 minutes ago, I posted a thing to our little retailer group that I have and asked them, who gets Big Wednesday people? What's the demographic? How old are they? Like, you know, I'm just really curious because I don't have it. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to hear what they say, and maybe I'll report that back here. As I pointed out yesterday, both of you know already, we have that new video up about Shangri-La Frontier. Definitely share it, check it out, and let people know. Until tomorrow, remember, damn it, babies, you gotta be kind. Good to see you, Mark. Good to see you, Joe. I need to try and do a live stream after work so that we can have more time to really get into any kind of subject. Because while I'm here and there's people walking in, I never have the energy to really push through, discuss stuff. But Joey and I had an interesting conversation about him editing the last video that I'd like to get into. But we'll talk about it hopefully tomorrow or the day after. All right. Until then, remember, damn it, babies.
Would you read this?
You gotta be kind.